everybody, I'm Kimmie Rose, and this is this week's vibe and mantra for the week of November, I cannot believe it, the 17th through the 23rd, 2018 AD. And wow, I just got back from Hawaii. It was a wonderful, wonderful time. And I decided that I would come outside, and this was a place near where I live, and I wanted to show everybody this lion, because this lion is really, really significant, because this is all about this week, about finding the power within you and not getting stuck. And why Hawaii was great. Please get a chance to check out the vlogs. And the girls, my daughter Asha Zaff and Hannah Zaff, they both have their own YouTube channels, and we had a great time. And sometimes you just need to really have that presence and that connection in order to really, really love what you're doing, and to really, sometimes we just need that downtime. So as always, so doing these vibes and mantras, they empower me, and it makes me happy that they can empower you too. So this week, the vibe, we've got a lot going on. As Venus goes direct, it's going to help us to be a lot more centered. We've learned by now what really serves our highest good. And many of you will have had things in your life that didn't make the cut. And when I say that, it's like energies, like people, it may be a job, or maybe something in your life that it didn't quite work out. Maybe it needed to change. You may have had a separation in a relationship or a friendship. Whatever it is, it was meant to be. You have to trust it. You cannot dwell on it. Lessons are always meant to be learned, and as we are in a direct Mercury, this week, coming into the next week, we're going to go into a Mercury Retrograde. It's important to know that everything you start out in life, make sure that you're honest and you're clear, and that's the best advice I can give you. Sometimes the things that we say can almost feel hurtful to people, but if you're being honest with people and clear, then they know what your expectations are, and if they are clear with you, you know what theirs are. You can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. And what the last several months, especially since May, have taught us, it's taught us to be clear, very clear with ourselves. As we went through these vibes and mantras, I've shared with you, go within, listen to what your inner voice is telling you, and know that your vibe will attract your tribe. When I say your vibe attracts your tribe, I want to include that our sensory perceptions, as I always do, I like to teach everybody about how to be awake, about waking up. Every one of those sensory perceptions are important, including communication. So if there's something in your life that keeps repeating itself over and over again, make sure you're not afraid to communicate with people in your lives. If you're going to start a journey, set the boundary of what might be too much, because what has been happening over the last, and it's been I was kind of looking at the energy. I do Vedic astrology and intuitive astrology, and also coaching, and much of what comes in I channel. You know what the cycles are in your life that exhaust you. You know what makes you emotional. I have worked so hard to stay as clear as possible. There have been some real challenges that I've created in my own life, and I found out what the roots of those challenges are, and these are the things that we've realized. The roots of many of my challenges were taking on responsibility of other people and not honoring myself. And I found that the longer I let that happen, the more and more I would start to blow up because I wouldn't say anything. So I had decided right in February, as I was looking at the astrology, that I would no longer do that. I would be very direct with people and say, if this is going to be a certain way, then this is what I can't do, because these are the cycles in my life that have repeated. For instance, one of them that I could give an example of are, like, let's say finances, personal finances. I have had so many people in my life that, like, I love where I live. It's a beautiful place. It's so, like, big and nice for people to come and to stay. But one of the things that that happened in the past was I would have people that would stay with me, and I would work, and they would take care of certain things, like, for instance, cleaning, or, oh gosh, this is about 12 years ago, doing, the cooking and the laundry and all that. But I noticed that as a mother, one of the things that really, really got to me was I was working and I was providing and paying the bills. And for some people, that's okay. But for me, that I kind of felt like, wow, I've taken on like another person, and I'm not their mother. And so, this person was a female, and bless her, wasn't her fault, because I never was clear with her. I just figured, well, hey, this will make it easier on me if she does those things. And the truth is, I like to cook. I really do. People think I don't, but a lot of times the reason I don't have that time is because I play that role of, being the financial supporter. And so I'm not saying I don't cook, but like to cook those really good meals. I like to do the laundry. I love to clean. I know I sound different, don't I? Like, you're going, what is wrong with that girl? But the truth is those are things that for me as a mother, and if you are not a mother that's like that, that's okay too. But that's a way I identify with myself. This is the household I live in. This is, I like things a certain way. So I had somebody come in, and it was nice to give her a home and a place. But I noticed something is that I was missing out because I was working on that personal connection, like that deeper connection that I could have with my children, mainly one child in particular. And there's no way I'll never do that again. But that was something I needed to learn. So what is it? And this is the interesting thing. Since 2006, you will have been shown a series of things in your life, a series of things that will repeat themselves. And what happened to me is I started to realize, because as I follow the astrology, I realized, well, you know what? I thought that providing that space to live meant that it was okay if somebody else like cleaned and did things. I thought that was an even and fair exchange. And after I really, really, really got down to it, I found that for me, cleaning and taking care of things gave me the ability to talk to my kids and be present with my kids. But when I was working all the time, energy started to build up, resentment started to build up. And I was choosing to say, okay, I know you don't have that job. I know that it's not there. And so I'll take care of that. You take care of all this stuff. And what started to happen is I started to realize as I have 3 older and 2 younger. I have a 15 and 16-year-old that are still here. And then I have 3 older children One of them, I cannot believe this, is born in 86, then another in 89, and another in 94. When the oldest were really young, I had such a love for being able to like do the laundry, be up in the morning with them, and just have that time with them. So I went from a space of always, like being there, being the mom, because you're only a mom for so long. And what happened was I thought that, okay, well, heck, I'll trade. I'm the one that's working all the time. Then I'll have somebody come in and they can take care of those things. And it didn't serve my highest good because I missed out on time with one of my children in particular. And I'll never give that up again. Never, never, never. Because they grow up really fast. So that was my own self-realization. And again, some of you might want to go and work, and it's okay if you have a nanny or however you choose to do that, but we've learned by now what our balance is. And as the beginning of 2018 came, I knew what my balance was. I had had enough of those cycles where, and I don't want to say I was being manipulated, but it was like I was getting exhausted because, okay, if you think about this, like it's like, okay, people were, would come and live and trade for living at my home, and it became their home too. It was like I somehow must have given that impression that them helping with my laundry or things like that was good enough as a trade. And the truth is when you are part of a community, you actually, you share a home, so everyone will clean. Everyone, contributes with cooking and things like that. And when we're adults, I really think it's important that everyone also financially contributes. So I have been very clear in so many ways to say I'm not going to be the one that holds that responsibility on my shoulders, because what it does is it brings me down and I get tired and I get emotional. And what has happened, and I've been telling everybody, if you are not standing in the truth for yourself, you will create the same patterns over and over again. And that is what happened once more. And whose fault is that? It's neither fault, because somehow along the way, if you were not clear about, like with me, I'm like, somewhere I was not clear about communication of how I wanted things to be. And even worse, instead of just sitting down and just sharing that that's how I felt, I let it build up and let it build up, and then I found myself becoming a cranky butt. That's what I call it. And towards the end of that situation, I blew up, and then it just came out. And how many of you have been holding things inside for so long? And how many of you have walked away from a relationship because you never communicated how you really felt, or you did communicate how you felt, but you just blew up and that relationship ended? Or if you're lucky, it did not end, and the other person, and this is really what's going on with this vibe right now, we're realizing this, we're seeing this. If that relationship didn't end, then that person then realized, okay, you know what, maybe this person isn't completely like unbalanced. This person really, really is tired of not being heard. So if you have felt like your voice was on mute, and everybody has felt that way, I'm just going to tell you that this is a time we're entering in now, that your voice will no longer be muted. But there's one thing that's really important right now. It's that you are speaking your truth, and your authentic truth honors your health. It honors your mind, your spirit. And what was happening to me was I fell back into some habits that were not good. And I realized that even with my job, I have to keep a balance because I have Mars in Pisces, which tends to accumulate a lot of energy from other people. And if I don't have time to go in and clear away all that which I'm holding, then I turn into an emotional wreck. And instead of, I did, I think I spoke up, but instead of totally like saying enough is enough, hey, this is the way it has to go, I felt guilty. I let all those things. When, you feel bad, you're like, well, maybe it's easier because I can create things for myself in better ways. And the truth is, it's not up to you to create things for other people. You need to take care of yourself. Inside of you, inside of each of us, and I just want to show you this. You got a lion in you. You actually have a roar, you have a voice, and you have the strength. And I think of the lion on the Wizard of Oz. He needed to find his courage. You have to have the courage to know that you will be loved no matter what. And this is a time period where it's important to find the balance. The vibe is all about finding that inner courage. It's all about finding the inner strength. And when you find that inner strength, you won't have to fight so hard to stop the lessons that repeat themselves, because they will stop. And so boundaries don't mean that other people are bad. Boundaries are about honoring yourself, because many of us, we will utilize outside things so that we can just keep going. And I remember the first time that through having a lot of physical pain, I thought to myself, if I just take this pill, I can keep going for everyone else. That's a Mars and Pisces thing. And I realized that's not the way to do it. Because I matter, and I wasn't thinking about the people. First of all, I wasn't thinking about me. And I wasn't thinking about the people that were closest to me. But I figured if I could just do it, I could keep going and going. So whether it's caffeine or, whatever it is that you use to keep going, if that's how you are making yourself go so you can just hold up and be Hercules, find the courage within to know that you are enough, that you have enough, and you can do anything. But you have to ask for the support of those around you. You don't always have to verbally say, hey, come on over here, and help me out. The truth is, this is the beginning of the time period where you are going to start connecting if you have come to the realization. And I know you will, because you're listening to what I'm sharing. This is the time period where you actually will have figured it out, and you have brand new people that will be coming into your life, that will be there. Can you accept that help? Mars in Pisces is going to be pretty heavy, because Mars in Pisces can do one of two things. Now, I want to just explain to everybody that we just moved out of the age of Pisces, which is feel good and, just dip into that la-la unconscious where you don't have to feel feelings. thus the age of many whether it be antidepressants, drugs, things like that. And again, I'm not here to judge, because I definitely have had my challenges. But I can tell you the most beautiful thing in life is to feel yourself. Even if that self hurts. I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, and I'm outside right now. It's cold. But I can feel me. I can feel me. And I'm okay. No matter where I go, as long as I'm being true to me. And I know that that's not a selfish thing. It's something that if I don't do, I'll fall down and I will go right down the rabbit hole again. And that's where that energy from 2006 coming all the way up into this week. Hey, guess what? Saturn's direct. Saturn makes you look at those things behind you. Saturn makes you really, really connect with what worked and what didn't. And boy, Saturn puts you in full force to work with your strength. This week is all about that. Pay attention. So if you haven't been getting anywhere and you're finding yourself exasperated and tired, ask yourself, look at the patterns and say, how is it that I got there? And Mars in Pisces, as it comes out, Mars in Pisces wants to be the victim. A lot of times wants to be like, oh, well, it's because of this, it's because of that. So you have a choice this week. You can blame all those other things, or you can go into that inner power. You can embrace that inner strength. And when you do that, everything will change. Truly, your vibe attracts everything. Where you direct energy is where it comes back to you. Don't forget that. So, when things get really heavy this week, because they're going to feel emotional and heavy, you'll have a choice. Do you want to detach from those things? Because remember, you have to come back. You can detach into the high, or whatever it is that you feel like you need, but it's only temporary. Or you can connect with this person, this beautiful person. You can connect with your inner strength. I ask you to have the courage this week. Have the courage to know that everything inside of you is there to support you. You were meant to live the life you were meant to live. And if you are connected to some things that, like, let's say you need to go through a cleansing or a purging, this is the week where people will show up in your life and say, let me make this easier on you. Let me help you. You don't even have to ask. Because if you don't fall into that self-pity, people will offer. Because they're going to see that you want to do it better. The vibe this week is all about the choice. Do I choose to dive into the sea of illusion? Or do I choose to embrace my inner strength? So with that, I just want to wish you a lot of blessings, and then we're going to do the mantra. I know you can do it. We're all one. We're all connected. That's what this channel's about. And I thank everybody for your support and hope to do many more of these as we all walk this path together. Hi, I'm Kimmie Rose, and this is this week's mantra. I can't believe, again, I keep saying this, I can't believe it, but we're almost at Thanksgiving, and what a great time to give thanks. So before I do the mantra, I'm going to ring the bell and ask you to close your eyes and go within. Really go within. I know that growth is painful. Change is painful. But nothing is as painful as staying stuck somewhere you don't belong. I embrace my true self. I know that growth is painful, change is painful, but nothing is as painful as staying stuck somewhere you don't belong. I embrace my true self. Hug that lion inside. You are that strength. You are that power. And anything you want to do, you can do. Release the doubt. Get healthy. Get aware. And wake up. That's what the ascension is about. Thanks for joining me on this week's Vibe and Mantra. If you'd like to get a hold of me or any of the other Light the Way Prisms of Light readers, go on over to lighttheway.com. You can see that on the screen. You just click it. Or you can call 734-854-1514. And please, if you like this, give us a thumbs up and subscribe. We appreciate your support, and we hope to bring you so much more. And don't forget, on Monday nights, we have free readings right here. And you can also check out any information, any more. There's so much. I've posted some videos on some mediumship readings I've done over on my Facebook, Kimmie Rose, Ruby Morgan. And also, I want to share with you, I did something kind of exciting. This is my wrap. It's the weekly Vibe and Mantra wrap. Enjoy it. Peace to you all. Thank you so much for joining me this week. Namaste. Peace.
Yeah. Kimmie Rose in the temple. I'm lucky, yeah, I'm a psychic cause I got mad flow. Weekly Vibe and Mantra, you know how it go. If you're a hater, then I'll see you later. Peace sign out, no discriminators. You know how it be, got my CBD squirted in my mouth, no THC. Weekly Vibe and Mantra, weekly Vibe and Mantra. Call me on the phone, yeah, you know I gotcha. Weekly Vibe and Mantra, weekly Vibe and Mantra. Just hit my line and I'll balance out your chakras. Weekly Vibe and Mantra, weekly Vibe and Mantra. I'm a proud mama, period, comma. Weekly Vibe and weekly Vibe and weekly Vibe and Mantra. Weekly Vibe and weekly Vibe and weekly Vibe and Mantra. Weekly Vibe and weekly Vibe and weekly Vibe and Mantra. Weekly Vibe and weekly Vibe and weekly Vibe and Mantra.